it's just like school, in my opinion. Hello, this is Host Eric, talking with famous people. I'm talking with Unify about doing music, about the risks of putting yourself out there, and the hesitancy a lot of people have about engaging in stuff that they think might be perceived as, or that they might end up feeling themselves as a mistake. And the fact is, I've got piles and piles of failed media. I've got plenty of videos up here that would fall into that general category as well, but I just put them up there anyway. Why? Because I had to free myself from that. Like a lot of people, I was terrified of expressing myself and saying this is my art, whatever kind of art it is, whether it's painting or videos or a news broadcast. I mean, any kind of creation. You know, people are terrified of that because they think, well, that represents me. What if it's awful and everybody hates it, and then I'll go, oh, I'm really fucking shitty at this, and now I'm embarrassed too. Well, the problem is this notion that everybody wants to already be good at stuff before they put it out there. But you can't get good at stuff until you are really engaged in the full process, which includes not just making the stuff, but putting it out for consumption, and realizing that everything you put up there, that's one more completed block in your identity build. That represents you at that moment. That's the thing you're going to refer to later and go, oh my God, I've gotten so much better because that's kind of crappy. I'm so glad I saved that so I have that to compare it to. So I know how I've improved. If you start with that attitude, it's easy to do one little thing, something. Well, like send me a beat. And so then when I put it up there in a video, it'll just be probably like random talking with famous people pictures over the music part. Or maybe I'll put just like black with some captioning or something like that. It's like one of those kind of videos. Then it'll say, you know, collab, Host Eric and Unify, and whatever. And then you'll be like, oh, okay, well, that's pretty cool, I guess. And then you'll be like, wait, but it didn't even get any likes. It's like, you got 40 views and no likes. There's no point in that. Well, there's no point in doing just one. There's a shitload of point in making a big pile. Big piles impress people. Big piles of shit make people go, oh, you must be legitimate, Host Eric, because you've got 2,000 videos. I guess you're not crazy after all. I guess I am willing to subscribe to you. It's not because I'm any different than I was when I had 0 subscribers or 4 subscribers, although I think I have gotten better, but I'm not substantially different. The people's willingness to subscribe is related not just to the media itself, but to things like this, like having a blue thing back here, to things like having a haircut, and stuff that we don't think matters at all, that shouldn't matter, quote unquote. But it does. And most of all, the thing that matters is, where do you get your legitimacy from? When you have numbers of other people affording you legitimacy, most people, that's enough. That's all they need to know. You're legitimate. A bunch of other people think you're legitimate, so you're legitimate. And to attain legitimacy requires consistency, persistence, and just raw quantity. Unless you get lucky, right? If you get lucky and you are the person who made, damn, Daniel, back with the white vans again.
Yeah.
Then you're stoked, you know, you're great. You're stoked because he got shitloads of views for that, and
one-hit wonder.
But if it's a big enough hit, he's probably got some bank, I would guess.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if people watching those videos would buy things necessarily.
Like T-shirts, I guess it might not last that long, but maybe T-shirts.
Well, I mean, he'll get money directly from YouTube, right? So, if you think about the numbers, right now we're making like $60 a month on TwFP, and that's with or 800 subscribers, let's say, just around it. So probably figure, let's see, that's 4/5. So $60 is 4/5 of what? $80 of 60. 80% of 60. 10% of 60 is 6. So 8 times 6, 48. So okay. So that means another 12. So we're looking at $72 at 1,000 subscribers if the numbers extended the same ratio. $72 at 1,000 subscribers. That means at 10,000 subscribers, you're looking at $720. At 50,000 subscribers, you're looking at $3,500 a month, and 100,000 subscribers, you're looking at about $7 grand a month, $7,200 a month. That's good money. That's good money. So I don't know if the behavior of his kind of a thing where he probably doesn't put up a shitload of video. I don't know. I don't know how it plays out for him. But I do know that if your hit's big enough, you probably get a big chunk of change.
Yeah. So just doing rather than thinking.
Well, I mean,
instead of trying to perfect on the inside, perfect as I'm doing it. That way progress can be made.
Right. For sure, perfect as you're doing it. And also, I like to incorporate this kind of magical thinking. I see things that happen in my life as not being directed by me particularly in general, just because I've always thought that, though, because it just sort of feels like shit always just happens. I don't know why. Why are you doing this, Eric? I don't know. Why does anybody do anything? Why? I'm just doing shit. I don't know why I'm doing this or that or the other thing. and so, well, when I quit drinking, I started incorporating one of their suggestions, and I found it very useful, which is I tend to frame things as what the universe wants me to do with this thing. And that the universe wouldn't have given me that thing if they didn't want me to do something with it. And that thing could be, like a floated idea, possible additional shit like this, right? That's what does the universe want you to do with this, Unify? By rejecting magical thinking, you disempower yourself of an extremely powerful frame of reference. If you actually assume the universe does want something specific from you, and start at that premise, and start doing some thinking on it, you'll discover that the whole world looks different. You don't have to believe it. NTPs are scared of this for some reason. We tend to think, well, I can't make a leap of faith like that, Eric. First, we'll say, I don't even know what that means, to make a leap of faith. Yes, you do. And then, second, they'll say, well, I mean, but you can't just turn on and off belief like that, which is the same thing as saying, but if I do it, I'll get stuck. And I'll just be like the people who read horoscopes and stuff. You won't. It's perfectly safe. Just understand it as what it is. These aren't beliefs of mine. These are behaviors that are useful to generate meaningful data about what I ought to do, and ideally to help me find it easier to proceed in doing things.
Yeah, I never really looked at it like that.
Yeah, well, I hadn't either.
Or maybe I'm just lazy.
I hadn't looked at it like that either. I had to do some serious metaphysical scrambling, because I was trying to get myself to stop drinking using a system that I knew instantly was garbage. There's no logical consistency to it at all. And I knew I couldn't deny that fact to myself. No matter what I could do, I could not. I knew it was impossible. I could not convince myself that that system was logically sound. That the claims being made on this thing are logically sound. I'm unable to believe that. I'm unable to act as though it were the case. So, what does it mean to act as though it were the case? Well, that would mean, freaking doing all this shit they say, like praying and all this other stuff, and I was facing a quandary because I was done. I was broken, and so I decided not to think about it at all and just do the behaviors. And eventually, I realized, there's no such thing as beliefs. It's just, are you doing these behaviors or not? And if the behaviors are useful, there's no reason to feel as though there's anything wrong with them. I'm not betraying my logical core. I'm enabling it.
Yeah. Because if I feel like it's just some supernatural belief, then I won't.
Well, then you ask it as a conditional. If it were the case that the universe had a specific course of action it wanted me to pursue, often, not always, but often, how would I know when something's a thing I ought to pursue? How would I know which manner in which I ought to pursue it? And what does the universe ultimately want from me? Well, Unify, I can tell you that you start with the notion that the universe wants you to fulfill your destiny as Unify. So you don't know exactly what that is, and the universe does somehow. It knows what you ought to be. And so you've got to let it tell you what you ought to be. If you try to say to yourself, I'm going to tell myself what I ought to be, then you're saying it's flexible. There's no Unify fulfilling his destiny. There's no destiny. It's just, well, I'd kind of like to be more like this, or I'd kind of like to be more like that. Destiny is an awfully inflated term. To imagine that an individual is destined to something, Eric, that's ridiculous. Well, you're not giving yourself enough credit. That's what that is. It's choosing a forgettable destiny. You do have a destiny. I like the universe's version of me better than my own. And I trust the universe to be ambitious for me. I don't trust myself to be ambitious for myself. Of course, you're not going to get any messages from God. He's not going to send you a letter saying, here's what you should do here, Unify. What you will get are circumstances where you go, well, there seems to be momentum pushing me towards a certain direction. And, you make a determination about whether that momentum is traveling in the same direction you want to be traveling, in which case you attempt as best you can to embrace that. And if you determine the momentum is going in the opposite direction of where you want to be going, then you do your best to quickly destroy it and then go away. It's good to always try to quickly destroy something you don't like before you leave. It's just a general good policy. You don't have to do that step, but it probably did something to piss you off, whatever it was. So the point is, yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. Hey. Are you back? Yeah. Were you gone for a while? You missed such a good speech. Oh my, it was so good. It was so uplifting. You would have been so uplifted, Unify. Now you're going to have to watch it on YouTube.
I was just hungry for a speech, too.
Well, the speech is this. Unify is just trust the universe. It's more ambitious for you than you are. The world is telling you shit all the time. It's like, well, right now it's telling you to put a fucking beat in the Dropbox folder. But later it'll tell you other things. I don't know. The thing is, when certain things happen, like when I find myself unusually hampered in attaining a simple goal, like I want to go meet with these people and finalize this thing, but then this happens and gets in the way, and then that happens and gets in the way. It causes me to pull back and say, the universe may be telling me that that's not a good thing for me to be doing right now. When that guy slapped me in the face, okay, that was the universe giving me our first opportunity to not continue working with these people in San Marino. I was on my way there to go talk to the woman and sort of like finalize, yes, let's fucking, okay, fine, let's move forward, or to go tell her, no, let's not go forward, or whatever. I was just pissed. I was like tired of done with it. And instead of going there, at a stop sign, this guy slapped me. And that caused me to derail my plans entirely. And I didn't end up going there that day. I was supposed to go home and realize that I need to end that shit. Instead, I didn't do that. I didn't learn anything from that lesson, right? I didn't do what the universe wanted me to do because it was hard. It sounded unpleasant to go tell these people that we were supposed to be partners, but you guys suck ass and I don't want to be partners with you anymore. That's basically what I had to go tell them. I didn't want to do it, you know? And yes, they hooked me up a little bit, and she's fucking leaning heavy on that, but she didn't hook me up that much. So, I don't know. Regardless, the point is, I like a universe where that's not a random event, where it's intended to tell me something. And if I were required to defend that statement as a claim, as a position statement, and say that, in fact, I am sure that the reason that happened is because of the universe trying to get me to do something, then I wouldn't possibly be able to defend it. But I think that there's multiple slabs. People's slabs are their narratives and their all this other stuff. And so they maneuver, and if they're in a certain vicinity, the universe says, okay, well, we'll use this slab of this pissed off guy to interfere with this slab of this guy who has to make a mistake. We're going to give him another chance to look at this. Why would it do that? Beats the shit out of me. Does it actually do that? In my life, it does. Because I choose to view it like that. And it's much better than the alternative.
I agree.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you're going to rush right to Dropbox and put that beat in the folder. Put one in there tonight, dude. Do it before you go to bed.
I guess I'll throw something together and then put it in there.
Cool. Good. I'm happy to hear that. I'm really happy. I love it when INTPs do things. It makes me feel like they're doing their potential, right? Because INTPs are the quintessential fail to fulfill their potential type. They have the highest potential in a lot of areas, and they really are going to fulfill their potential, but they just need to think about it a little bit more.
Yeah, I worked really hard at getting good at something privately, then come out at the last second or never come out at all.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, just send me a beat. Relax. It is no big. You've seen the kind of stuff I put up there. Some of it's good, some of it's crap, right? It's hit and miss. Everyone's hit and miss. It's life. Thanks for watching Talk with Fans, people. Do not forget to eat plenty of cheese.